subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit that like, comment, and share button. It's official, guys and girls. Uber is headed to the SP 500. So I know I just reported on this last night where I was talking about this was a possibility. I was talking about this may happen or it could happen or whatever the case may be. But it's official. So we're going to go with official documentation, talk about what is the SP 500, what does this mean for Uber, and what are the requirements to get into the SP 500 too. So yes, as y'all know, this channel, we've been big followers of the SP 500, big critics, big things like that for a while now. And I made a bunch of content about Uber now for the last couple of years. I want to say right before the pandemic, when it came on my radar, probably about 18 or 17. So I've been following for about 5 or 6 years now. And now they're in the SP 500. So ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. I'm happy. Get your glass of wine and get your tackle box and let's go fishing. But if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and make sure hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit that like, comment, and share button. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, you are now tuned into the Investor Show. As always, this is your gracious host, the Prince of Investing, Prince Dykes, coming to you guys and girls live all the way from the beautiful city and state of Denver, Colorado. If you haven't done so already, man, I'm not even on Instagram, am I? I'm not even on Instagram. Oh man, hold on. I can be, right? Give me 1 second. I forgot to let everybody know in Instagram land that I am live. So y'all give me 1 second here. So so what I have put up in front of you guys who are catching this live, this is from the spglobal.com. This is a press release that was done yesterday, last night, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it really was yesterday. Yesterday after the market closed, Uber shot up. I want to say it says $60 now at the market. That's how much it shot up. So y'all give me 1 second. Let me get. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to go live. Not just yet. But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna read the press release, all that other stuff. Uber. Let's go here. I'm typing in my title here. Sorry about this, y'all. I don't know why I forgot about. I'm trying to go live on my Instagram more. So Uber officially joined the S&P. Here we go. S&P 500 on December 18th. Prince, how do you know the date? Because I read. I'm going to read this with y'all. And I'm going to show y'all where y'all can get it from too. Y'all can get these press releases too that come out. All right. So here we go. Are we live on? We're about to be live on. Yeah, there we go. All right. So we're live on Instagram, YouTube, and some of my Facebook pages. And this is going to be on the podcast too. So here we are, y'all. So here we go. So this is coming from the smp.gov. Right, here we go. We got smp.gov. We in here. And you can see it, ladies and gentlemen. This is from the S&P Dow indexes. This is a press release that was released on December 1st. How's everybody doing over there in the land of Instagram? We're on Instagram and YouTube. So the S&P 500 Dow indexes. Uber Technologies, builders first. How you say his name? Jabil. So Uber, Jabil, builders first source to set up the S&P 500 and others to join the S&P 500 mid cap 400 and the S&P 500 small cap too. So yes, everybody's hold on. Oh, okay. What's going on? That's my old classmate. She said, let me get my pen and paper because I know you will be dropping some knowledge. Yes, I'm here live on Instagram and my YouTube. Steve, what's going on, Steve? Gerald, Ole Miss, Al is over there on Instagram. Thank y'all. Tell your friends, your cousins, auntie, all of them too. So yeah. So here we go. S&P 500. This is coming from the spglobal.com. S&P Technology. This is what they're talking about. Coming from New York, December 1st. S&P 500 Dow Jones Index will make the following changes to the S&P 500, S&P 500 Mid Cap 400, S&P Small Cap 600 indicators effective prior to the opening trading day of Monday, December 18th. Remember when y'all heard me say Monday, December 18th? There it is, December 18th. This is when these effects are going to take change. This is coincides with the quarterly rebalancing. Every quarter, the S&P 500 rebalances everything, right? So we're going to talk about what the S&P 500 means later. So y'all know on this channel, this broadcast, if y'all tuning in, tell me where y'all from, where y'all checking in. Ready Stead Stock said, "What's up, Prince? Teach them, bro." Man, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. I don't know. I thought I could hit like a comment over there. Man, why my screen look a little cloudy? I got to clean up my camera here too. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so let's talk about it. So it says Uber Technology, S&P 500 Mid Cap, S&P 500 Mid Cap 400 Consulting, JBL on New York Stock Exchange, Builders Force will replace Seal Air Corporation. In order for Uber to move into the S&P 500 and these other companies move in, other companies got to move out. So Seal Air Corporation is out. Alaska Air Group is out. Solar Edge Technologies. I remember Solar Edge during the green. Remember that green time, that green push we had in 2020 in the pandemic. I was very big on different green stocks. I mean, it was pushing right before President Biden came into office. Right around that time of the election, you had green stocks really pushing, right? The green ETFs, but they cooled off. And Solar Edge, as less people trade the stock, the market cap went down, and Solar Edge is falling out. Just like Uber. If Uber don't do what it's supposed to do, it can fall out as well. So Sea Air has fallen out. Alaska Air Group has fallen out. Solar Edge Technologies have fallen out in the S&P 500 respectively, right? So, and they're going to go in and, they're talking about the small caps over here, other things like that, right? So here we go. Let's see this is what they have to pretty much say about Uber. This is going to take effect on December 13th. So when people see this, Prince, what does this mean for Uber? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? What does this mean? So let's talk about, before we can get into that conversation, you got to talk about what is the freaking S&P 500, right? What is it? The S&P 500 is not the 500 largest companies by market cap or anything like that. It has different criteria. So let's go over here to look at the criteria to join. The S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in America by Standard & Poor. It's not the exact not the top 500 companies in the world exactly, but it's other criteria that we're going to go through on this episode. So when you're included inside the S&P 500, you get a lot of cool things that happen to you as well. So it's kind of getting that validity. Now, Prince, while you talk about this, y'all know I've been making content about Uber since it was $22, right? And I made content where I felt like Uber was Facebook back then. People laughed at me, ridiculed me, and, other stuff like that. So, but hey, it's this book here. I'm going to reference this book here. The Little Book That Beats the Market. Y'all see that? The Little Book That Beats the Market. That still beats the market. Here it is right here. Y'all can see this. By Joel Greenblatt. I have reached out to Joel Greenblatt. Couldn't think about it. Never heard from him yet. So this is a great book. And the biggest concept I got out of this book, it was like, if you're right financially, sometimes you got to be wrong for years in order for people to come in. Your Ready Steady Stocks, so you saw the big picture, bro. Yeah, in Ready Steady Stocks, you've been following me for a while. You know this content I've been making for a while, especially on Uber. So it's many times where I looked at things financially and said, man, why is Lyft at 60, 80 bucks? And Uber, like when Uber, why is this 60, 80 bucks? But it's not trading well. It's going for $20 and $30. And there's companies that are way worse than it that are doing so much better. But I come to realize, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you have to be right for so long and wait until you're right. You have to wait until you're right. Warren Buffett said it best. The market is about patience. It's not about who's right and wrong. It's about who's the patient taking money from the impatient. So people looked at Uber every single day, read every single article. Man, I read those finances and broke them down here on the show. So that's another book I want to reference that of Joel Greenblatt that I read, and that's a pretty good nugget that I got out of it. So let's head over here to Investopedia. Shout out to Investopedia. If y'all didn't know, I was selected as one of the top 100 investment financial advisors for 2023. But anyway, Vestopedia, shout out to them. S&P 500 things you need to know. I like their little list here. You got to have a certain market cap. This market cap can change by the committee. The S&P 500 is a committee of people, and you have to have a certain market cap, right? Market capitalization pretty much gives an indication of how big you are on the public market. So you got to be on the New York Stock Exchange, right? You got to be publicly traded. You have to have a certain market cap, which is shares outstanding times price. Usually about 14 billion that I've seen. The value of your market cap is traded annually, right? Capitalization is traded annually. So they want to see this has to be a company that has a lot of activity, a lot of people, a lot of volume. 250,000 shares, I heard, is what they were saying. At least 250,000 of the shares traded each of the previous 6 months, meaning they want to see a certain amount of volume. So you got to have a certain amount of volume. If you got a certain amount of volume, you got a certain amount of popularity. Then also on top of that too, you got to have a certain market cap. You got to be at a certain size, right? You got to be a publicly traded company. a publicly traded company, and you have to be a U.S.-based company. What's going on, man? What's going on, bro? Glad to see you. I can't even say your name. Mizurxyx. That's on the Instagram. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you got to have a certain market. You have to IPO within the last year. So within the last year, you have to be on the market for at least a year. And here's the thing that pushed Uber over when it says has a positive sum of previous 4 quarters as well as the most recent quarter. So you got to have positive quarterly earnings, being profitable, positive quarterly earnings for the previous 4 quarters as the most recent quarter. Your most recent quarter, you got to be good. Mitz, what's going on, Mitz? He said, Mitz, okay, gotcha, Mitz. So right there, you got to be an IPO. You got to be on the market for a year. Most of your shares got to be in the public. You got to have a certain amount of volume. You got to be highly traded already. You got to have a certain market cap. You got to have positive quarterly earnings. Y'all remember we was doing lives about Uber not being profitable and its road to profitability. And I said, man, if it hits profitability, man, this is going to be a great thing. Not because Uber is such a great company, because I understand and know the industry. Inside of when you got Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, I don't think it's even publicly traded, Grubhub, and who else in that ride sharing gig economy, who else is comparing being profitable, killing earnings every week on the low? Eventually the market is going to recognize you, and this is recognition from the market. So those are the requirements to be inside of the S&P 500, right? So you got to have, those are the requirements. So we all know the requirements, right? You got to be publicly traded. You got to be on the New York Stock Exchange. Half of your stocks have to be open to the public. You got to at least be on the market for a year. You got to have positive earning quarters and most recent quarters. Because just like we saw those other companies, when Uber came in, other companies went out, the same exact thing can happen to these other ones too. All right. So now here's a big question. Okay, what's the so what factor? I was an intelligence chief, and they used to always say this. All right, you know this, good. So what's the so what factor? What's the so what factor to Uber joining, right? The first thing is brand recognition. That's one of the biggest things. Brand recognition. Now more people are more likely to invest into you. So when you're part of the S&P 500, this committee, when we buy the VU, when we buy the S&P 500, when we do whatever, right? We go out here and buy these things. All this money goes to this committee. This committee picks the top 500 companies on the market with their requirements, and they track it. Why is it so big for the S&P 500? The S&P 500 is the benchmark of finance. People are like, man, how do I know this year, Prince, how do I know my portfolio did good or bad over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? You compare it to the S&P 500. How did this stock compete to the S&P 500? How did this investment go against the S&P 500? Because if I look at your investment, if I'm investing into, I don't know, green grass in Ireland, and it's returning me 10% a year, and how do I know that's good or bad? I look at S&P 500. What has the S&P 500 done in the same time frame? Oh, wow. 10%. The market has done 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. So I'm doubling the S&P 500. That's what is meant by being the S&P 500 benchmark. So it is the benchmark of finance. Is everybody in finance look at how did their portfolio do against the S&P 500? How did this stock do? How did it do against real estate, even outside of stocks? Real estate, anything else, because I'm going to look at it. Well, if somebody's calling me to tell me to invest into an apartment complex and it's going to return me possibly 4% a year, I can take that money and go to the S&P 500 and potentially get 8 to 10% a year, right? So that's how you know that's the benchmark. That's why it's so big, because you are the benchmark. The S&P 500 is the benchmark of finance. Now, 3 companies fell off. 3 companies are being added as of Friday, December 1st, going into effect March 18th, right? So what's going to happen to Uber? Uber said, hey, 500 Club. Yeah, miss, you're right. Then, hey, it's official. They announced it after the market. And when it got announced after the market, Uber shot up to $60. So Uber shot up about a good 5 to 10%. No, it wasn't 10%. It was about a good 6 to 8%. It went from like $57, then it went to $60 after hours market trading on Friday, when it got officially announced that Uber will be a part of the S&P 500. So when Uber got announced to be a part of S&P 500, that's that brand. Hey, you're the top 500 companies in America. This gives you brand awareness. More people want to deal with you. All those other good things, right? Oh, that's my guy Al. Al say, let's go Uber. Oh yeah. What's going on, Al? Dark says, essentially, if you're not getting 10% a year, it's a questionable investment in most cases, at least. And the reason why Dark can say that, because he's familiar with and knows the S&P 500. So that's why it's the benchmark. It's like, hey, now, Dark, the only way you can say that is different. When we say 10%, when we speak about the S&P 500 goes up 10% a year, it's not really 10% back to back to back. It's 10% averaging, which I'm pretty sure you're probably aware of. It's like, take my military career. I always tell people, from 2003 to 2023, during my military career, the S&P 500 went up 400%. 400%, if you average that, that's 20% a year. Now, anybody can go back and look at a map, not a map, but a chart, and tell the S&P 500 did not go up 20% every single year. No, it did not, right? What ended up happening is the S&P 500, that's what it averaged. They're like, oh, you did 400% in 20 years, divide that by 20. Hey, that's about 20% a year. It didn't mean it went up 20% every single year, because that return would look totally different. That's when you look back and average it. So some of those years, other things outperform the market, right? So that's kind of, I want to get everybody to think. Don't think the market, oh, it's going to get me 10% every year. It all depends on what 10 year, which all depends on what span you're looking at, right? So yeah. B Grizzly said, Mix, let me get on Instagram. Mix says, imagine, like you said last time, if Elon only had brought Uber instead. See, I'm glad you said that. I did a whole podcast. I feel like Roy Jones' song, y'all must have forgot. When Uber, remember when Elon Musk was getting ready to buy Twitter? And everybody's like, oh, Prince, Twitter is such a great investment. I had people get on the phone and call me, bro, what you mean? Elon, see, when you have a bunch of money, I'm going to go off into a tangent. Who cares? It's Saturday night. When you have a bunch of money, people look at you when you're successful and they think it's a pseudo Jedi mind trick to everything you do. It does not, people think you can't do nothing wrong, right? So for prime example, when Elon Musk went out and brought Twitter, I said, man, this is crazy. Dude, you should buy Uber. I think Uber was like about 50 billion or something like that at the time. And I forgot how many billions he brought Twitter for. 40 something, 50 something billion. I said, dude, you could have brought Uber. I did a whole podcast on it. Hey, Elon, please don't buy Twitter. Now it's called X something, whatever the case may be. And look at Uber. Uber has doubled in market cap. Uber was at like 20 something, maybe $30 at that time. Now here it is at $60 after hours on Friday, December 1st. So you're right. I'm glad you said that. I did make content. Imagine if Elon had brought Uber instead. I said it, man. I did a whole video on it. It's probably about a year or two old. And I'm going to have to reshare that. Thank you for bringing that up, miss. That's why I got the best supporters in the world, man. Okay, so on YouTube, Big Grizzler, what's going on, man? I can't, he says, did they replace Blizzard? No, they did not replace Blizzard. So early in the podcast, it says right here, they replaced Seal Air. So Uber came in along with Jabal, Jabel came in, and also Builder's First Source included, right? They all jumped inside of the S&P 500, and they replaced Seal Air Corporations came off, Alaska Air Corporations came off, Solar Edge Technologies came off of the NASDAQ. So on the New York Stock Exchange, Alaska Air Group and Seal Air Corporations both got knocked down. Uber got picked up, right? So, and yeah, I love that, man. I love it. I love it how it happened. So I didn't even know who the heck Alaska Air Group was. Shouts out to them. Seal Air Corporation, I didn't really know who they were. Solar Edge, I definitely was familiar with them. So that's who they replaced, right? So now, what does this mean for Uber? What does this mean for Uber, y'all? Did you just say, hey, Prince, what's going on? What's going on over there? We got YouTube. We got Instagram. Mitt said no problem on Instagram. What's going on, man? Oh, Larry, aloha. We got Facebook in the building, too. Facebook is finally waking up. Larry, what's going on? That's my guy, Larry, man. He said aloha. He's out in, and of course, somebody wants to call my phone when I'm live. So what's going on, Larry? He's over there on Facebook. Aloha. I know you've been following me for a while, and you probably saw me make so much content about Uber. So yeah. Here we go. Dart said too many political issues surrounding Twitter. A bad guy for someone that doesn't like to play ball. Yeah. I mean, I just felt like it was back then. I felt like Twitter was the beginning of social media. But it's not about Twitter was bad. It wasn't that Twitter was bad, y'all. It was that opportunity cost. That was the thing. Opportunity cost. I have $50 billion today. I like to look at what all can I do with $50 billion if I had to move it today? What's all out there available to me? I have Uber. I got Twitter. I probably could get a couple of Chick-fil-A franchises. I can build. That's what I looked at it. That's what I was saying. I wasn't saying Twitter was a bad company or this or that. I said, dude, look what else is out there. Right? So, yeah, that's my thing there. So, on Instagram, Ready Says Stock says the stocks will replace Sea Air Corporations, Alaska Air, and join the S&P 5. There you go. On Monday, there you go. Ready Says Stocks got it. Right? It's on SP Global. SP global.com. Don't go back and tell people, man, I heard some goofy dude on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. He said Uber. No, we just went over earlier in the episode in the show where we read the press release from S&P global.com, where on December 1st, after the market closed, they officially announced Uber will join the S&P 500 because they did their rebalance. They rebalance every quarter, and they did that, right? Mitz on Instagram said, man, I'm about to buy Uber with my Monopoly money. Oh, man. All right, Be Good to say, yeah, but Elon wouldn't change some stuff at Uber, so I'm not sure if it would be valued the same. No, I think it would have been a great value. This is why. Because imagine if you take Uber's database and clientele and you put that on autonomous cars. That's why I said it. Uber was big on autonomous cars, self-driving cars. I was like, man, imagine if you create little Tesla carts and took the Uber database, because Uber doesn't really have any hard assets. It's really like Airbnb has no real estate, and Uber doesn't have any taxi cabs, doesn't own any cars. Uber is the database that give it all the money. The money's in the database. So imagine if you took that Uber database and put it on top of Tesla and Uber. If you took self-driving vehicles with Uber database, do you know how much money that is? I don't have to worry about paying drivers no more. I don't have to worry about. I'm not now. Shout out to all my Uber drivers. Shout out to all my Door Dashers, other things like that. But I'm just speaking from a corporate standpoint. Hey, in a place like New York City, hey, a little cart come and pick people up and take them down the street. Ready Said Stock said, LOL. Yeah, on my Instagram, but on YouTube, right? That's what I mean by that. That's why I think the value would have been great for Elon and Tesla, because I said, man, they can get this and get those self-driving cars, the Teslas, or electric carts. And when you order your food, a cart can pull up to a restaurant, somebody can drop it off, and they can take it. That's what I was thinking. And self-driving cars. As self-driving cars become more effective, imagine if you can order an Uber to take you to the airport tomorrow morning, and an electronic vehicle pulls out of a garage or out of a parking space, drives all the way to your house, picks you up, and takes you to the airport. Self-driving. That's crazy, but we're getting there. A self-driving car come pick you up and take you to work. A self-driving car picks you up, and I thought about it. I said, imagine you own a Tesla, you driving home, and then once you get home, while you at work or while you at home at night, your Tesla can go out and do Uber. Sounds crazy, but that's true. Your Tesla can go out. Imagine here, I live in Denver, right? In Aurora. So imagine if your Tesla could come to, I brought my Tesla home, and then once I got done driving my Tesla, it goes downtown Denver and Ubers on the weekend. Self-driving, picking people up who want to bar hop, picking people up who want to get downtown Denver, leave Denver, go to the bars, go do whatever they want to do. Hey, my car, or take people to the airport or whatever. My car does that. I can set a time. Uber from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning. And it comes back 2 o'clock in the morning. Maybe I charge it up and I go to work myself. That's what I was thinking. That was my brain was. But don't mind me. I'm just a little country dude to do finances. He said, could have had a whole conversation with the self-driving vehicles. Yeah, that was what I was seeing with Tesla. When I'm like, dude, you about to move $50 billion and you Tesla. Man, you should go do this. Larry said, life is good. Oh, yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is, man. Good to see you. Good to see you out there in Hawaii. We got to catch up soon, too, Larry. Next time you're in the area, or next time I'm back out there in Hawaii. You're out here in Denver or something like that. But that's good. Good to see you in good health. And thank you and appreciate your support, too. Oh, yeah, on YouTube, we just crossed over 49,000 subscribers. 49,000 subscribers. And I hope next stop, 10,000, another 1,000 to be at 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. 1,000 more. That's the goal for 2024. 1,000 subscribers. So y'all tell your mom and them and your cousin them. And guess what? If you comment and let me know your YouTube channel, I subscribe back. I follow back. If you DM me and tell me who you are, and I know that, hey, you're a follower, you're a supporter, then I will follow back. So let's do it, man. We crossed over 49,000. Next stop is 50,000. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what Mitz over here on Instagram said. You heard about Detroit building roads to charge EVs while they drive on? Yes, I have heard of it. Not in Detroit in particular, but I have heard about that. I have seen that technology and heard about the technology while you're driving down the road, charging the cars, your car is being charged on the road, right? And you know, electronic vehicles are going to make money off of that. You know, they're going to be like, hey, if you want that added feature, just like self-driving, all Teslas don't self-drive. I learned through my buddy got a Tesla that, hey, you got to buy a package for it to self-drive. And it's going to be a package in order to drive on the road. But I have seen that technology, you know, talk about doing a major city like that. XAA said, life is good over there on Facebook. There we go. We here, man. We on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we on YouTube. And we're going to be on Spotify too. So all y'all check all these platforms out. BG just said, congrats on 49,000. Yes, man. Thank y'all. Definitely appreciate y'all. Yeah, man. You know, man, it's been a 10-year run. I'm not an overnight guy. I've been doing this thing for, started while I was in the military, man, back in 2013. Just retired from the military here a couple months ago. And now I'm getting back in the groove. I spent about a year in the private equity markets, so I couldn't produce as much as content as I wanted to. But I decided to go independent and to have my own registered investment advisory. So yes, I have my own firm now. I have my own foundation. I have my own podcast and my whole book series. If you haven't done so already, most of y'all have done it. But go check out that book series. Go purchase the whole entire series of Wesley Learns about investing, credit, and insurance designed for kids. It's good y'all are up here in the middle of the night. Learn all this good stuff. Pass this down to your kids, y'all. Pass it down to your kids. So over here on Instagram, Mint says, okay, we talked about that. Mint says, when the technology keeps it from crashing, yes, we're getting there. iRobot. Yes. Oh, yeah. He's talking about the cars. Oh, yeah. Mint says, LOL. Yep. Gotta charge you something in order for you to charge. Feel You said yes, it is, bro. Congrats. Yeah, y'all boys over there wilding on Instagram. So no, you're 100% right. Yep, you got to charge something in order to get something because that's going to be another way for a city to make money. You know how we got toll roads? Man, I'm just trying to get down to Colorado Springs. I got to get on a toll road to get there the fastest. So you're crazy to believe that those charging, they're not going to find a way. It's America. You know, you're not going to find monetizing, right? Reddit says stocks that he started in 2023 as well. Congratulations. You got a YouTube channel. I know I'm following you on Instagram. So that's the thing about it. I follow back. You follow me, I follow back. It's not just about me supporting. I love to support other people because that's where I'm at today. So yes. So I'm very excited about this to see. Did I envision Uber going to the S&P 500? No, I didn't think they were going to get that type of notoriety. But I definitely thought it was a sleeping giant and that I could see them at $80, $100 if they became profitable. And to see them getting over $100, I can see that. I can see Uber in the triple digits. Now, here's the bad thing. I got to tell y'all, it's the bad thing about Uber. With this notoriety, more people invest, more people put money inside of Uber. Is at about $57, $60 a day. Uber is going to get flooded with capital. What will Uber do with that extra money? Uber is going to get flooded with capital. I already told you what I think they should do. They should go ahead and buy Lyft if it's legal. If they're not going to be considered a monopoly, I will buy Lyft because Lyft has gone down to the dirt. If you can't buy Lyft, go ahead and buy, what's the other one? I buy Grubhub. And they've done a little bit of that. They did that a little bit. They brought the alcohol company. They're looking to buy marijuana when it's become legal. They brought the DIDI out in China, a portion of it or whatever, the ride sharing. Out in the Middle East, they brought a ride sharing company. So they got to do it. Now they got this money coming in. Uber, how can you grow? Right? How can Uber really grow? Because they're going to have a lot of money coming in, being included in the S&P 500. Most people retirement plans are in what? The S&P 500. It's the benchmark of finance. That thing is worth trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. So that's going to be a new bloodline. So this could be hyped today, and the fundamentals could start to look funny tomorrow because all of that money could stunt the growth. So Uber, first order of business. Grubhub, I'm making you an offer. DoorDash, I'm making you an offer. Lyft, I'm making you an offer because the gig economy ain't going nowhere. All right. So real estate stocks that says yes, building it better. They need to give dividends. Well, it could. You know, I believe in what Warren says. Berkshire doesn't pay a dividend, and Warren Buffett always says he doesn't pay a dividend because you get taxed twice. And he takes the money and repurchase Berkshire stocks, so the stock price can go up. And when the stock price go up, it help you avoid taxes. Because once you get those dividends, so Uber they pay taxes on the dividends, then they pay you, then you turn around and pay taxes on the dividends too as income. So it all depends on what your strategy is. If you're an income-focused person, Uber may not fit your portfolio. But if you're a growth-type person, it may fit your portfolio. Now, being included into the S&P 500. Now, we got to see Dar. I think that's his name, Dar, D-A-R-A. Dar, how Dar talked about it. We got to see what Dar's going to do, right? He said both. He said Roth IRA. You got a Roth IRA? So if you got a Roth IRA, you're not worried about income. You got a Roth IRA, I would be shooting for growth. Depending on how old you are, rock steady stocks, right? You gotta ask yourself, how old are you? You are 39 years old and you're someone who's trying to grow your portfolio until you're 60. I would say you should be growth. If you're 39 years old and you're retired and you have $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, or whatever, you got some health issues and you can't absorb any type of risk, and then focus on an income strategy, then Uber may not fit. Maybe it may be a Coca-Cola or something like that, right? So, but yes, that's something they might do. I need to shake my little goatee up too. So yeah, man, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I'm going to get out of here and get running. I watched Georgia tonight, man. I can't believe Georgia lost to Alabama. Come on. Wow, I thought that was going to be an easy walk in the park for Georgia. Now, they might not even be in the playoffs. They defend the national champions, probably just lost the chance at a three-peat. Come on. I don't know what happened out there, but yeah, I thought that was going to be an easy W. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. Dart over there says he shoots me the peace sign. Peace to you too, brother. And Rocksteady thoughts. I'm originally from Georgia too. I'm all dimmed out, but Georgia, that's the home base too. So that's like my second team. So I want to see them do well too. So But yeah. But anyway, hopefully y'all got some out of this. Uber is official, y'all. Uber is joining in on the SP 500. And he said, football heartbreaks. Ha ha. Have a good night, boss. Oh, yeah, yeah. Larry said, blessing. All right. So, y'all, check it out. We're going to follow this as December 18th come along. We're going to look at their finances for Uber. I want to hear what their plans are going to be with this newfound wealth, because you got to still follow. I follow the fundamentals. I follow the daily fundamentals, right? So we got 120%. Uber went up 120% this year. He ain't finna do that next year. This might be the peak of Uber. I don't know. But I know 120%. All my technical friends going to tell me, Prince, he did 120%. That's illogical to think it's going to continue to go up, 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 right? But I'm a long-term person. Okay, Registered Sock said VA. He said, hit me later, bro, 100. VA? You in Virginia? Is what you're telling me? Virginia's in the building? Mid said, yes, sir. Okay. All right. Larry says, blessings on YouTube. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. But y'all, I'm finna get out of here. Hopefully y'all got some out of it. Shoot me a DM, Rocks to the Stocks, man, and we'll talk. All right. Until the next video, podcast, cartoon, whatever it is crazy y'all see me do around the globe. Y'all know my name is Prince Dykes. Peace. Be safe. I'm out. And thank you.